like it. Who's a man, dog? Come on, wake him up.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Gryd, the Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Brock Eisman, sports psychologist, outdoorsman, and the founder of Off to Grid Therapy. Let's get after it. Enjoy the show.
Trying to fight a war, but I lose myself. What is living for if I burn in hell?
What is up, you guys? Okay, so for this week's episode, I wanted to discuss a topic that I believe we can all benefit from, especially the people pleasers that are tuning in. First thing I wanted to start off with, if you and your validation and confidence regarding yourself come from external sources, then you are never going to be truly free. And the reason for that is because every single person who criticizes you or even praises you, they eventually become your master. They own you. And it's an interesting thing when you yourself, and I mean you, most likely view yourself as the most important person in your life. And it always makes me wonder when I have this conversation with people, because you love yourself more than anyone around you. And I'm going to be careful with that, because you're most likely thinking inside of your head, like, I don't love myself more than anyone around me. But you won't even listen to that opinion that's going on inside of your own head. And you revert to listening to others about you. And that's a very slippery slope. The people around you are also thinking about themselves. And that will most likely not even be thinking about you. And even 10 minutes after that conversation that you just had, or that thing that you just did, like, they're not even thinking about it. They're just thinking about themselves. Okay? And if you could see, like, honestly, how superficial people's thoughts actually are, you would immediately stop caring about their opinions. I promise. And just to, like, be authentically you, that's where I want you to be. Like, just be authentically you. And I wanted to bring up, I've been watching Surf's Up a ton lately with my son, and we recently watched it probably the past 3 days in a row. So one of my favorite lines from the movie, which I have a lot of because I love that movie, and I know that my son loves that movie too. But the beginning of the movie, this penguin, he's getting judgment from everyone around him, and especially from his family. And the main character at the beginning of the movie, his name's Cody, and he says this quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes from the movie. But he says, "Cody's this, Cody's that. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me." And if we could take the words from a very wise penguin in an animated film to stop caring about what people think, to just be you, bro. And I honestly, I love that quote from that movie. And it's just right at the very beginning. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Great film. Who specifically are the people whose opinions that are currently directing your actions? Do you act that way in public? Do you act that way in private? Is that you? And it's exhausting, right? And I totally get that. Maybe you're the person who doesn't like confrontation and you just don't want any problems. So you say this thing and it's yes all the time when you really should have just said no. Maybe you agree a lot while internally disagreeing. Are you afraid of judgment? You don't want to be judged? Maybe afraid isn't the right way to say that. You just don't want any problems. And I fall into this category all of the time. I just want to keep everyone and everything chill. It's like, I just want it to be chill. And speaking your mind messes with the vibe. And I totally get that. Like, I don't want to speak my mind. I don't mess with the vibe. But I've learned over the years that this people-pleasing, nice guy mentality, it actually creates more problems than it solves. And that's because every single time I delay or avoid a tough conversation or a hard conversation, I'm inevitably delaying an even harder one later. I've been there. You've probably been there too. But I have a quote written down in my phone, and it was actually from one of the trips, from one of the guys on the trips, and it impacted me a lot. So I wrote it down in my phone, and just randomly said this after someone spoke, and it was a very, very wise comment. But he said, keeping the peace isn't the same as living in peace. Keeping the peace isn't the same as living in peace. And dude, that one just got me. It really speaks to this conversation that we're having. I want you and everyone that you know, everyone that you've come into contact with, I want them to know this. Some of us like spend so much of our time and so much of our life trying to keep everyone else comfortable that we forget that we ourselves, the uncomfortable ones, we never actually become comfortable. Be you, bro. Like Cody, be you, bro. Just be you. People are always going to judge you. They're going to judge the career that you have. They're going to judge what you're driving. They're going to judge your parenting choices, like when you become a parent. Your faith. Even what you wear. It could be that simple. And you can't win that game. The ironic part is, the people judging you are judging themselves even more. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, if your confidence comes from external things, you'll never truly be free. Whose opinion has more authority over you and your life than it should right now? Whoever or whatever that is. It's time to take that authority back. Because at the end of the day, Cody's me, bro. Brock is me, bro. Get off the grid. Find your why. We'll see you out there. Thanks for listening.
This episode is brought to you by Mahogany Smoked Meats. Ever since I was a kid, my dad and I would always stop at Mahogany Smoked Meats before whatever adventure we were headed on, grabbing beef jerky and sandwiches for the road. Now, years later, it's so rad seeing Mahogany become part of the Off the Grid trips. They've been family owned since 1922 out of Bishop, California, still doing things the old-fashioned way. You can genuinely taste the difference. Go support the businesses that still believe in quality, tradition, and bringing good people together. Mahogany Smoked Meats.
Trying to fight